Hi everyone, my name is Chandra Hartman and I'm the owner of Wild Root Coffee and Apothecary. Welcome to my channel. So today I thought I would take the opportunity to talk a little bit about becoming an herbalist. Maybe you're thinking about being an herbalist. What does that really mean? What's it about? So let's grab some tea and we'll get started. I came to herbalism early in my life, and it really was my love of nature and plants that brought me there. I've always had gardens. I love growing things, all kinds of plants, especially food. And also I was introduced at a very young age to a group of people who showed me a different way to live, like an alternative lifestyle, if you will. And a lot of them were into things like homeopathy and essential oils and things I'd never heard of, tinctures and natural home birth. And I got really involved with this community and started working at a local co-op when I was 18, 19 years old. And I left home at a very young age and had been on my own. So this was my family. And I really took an interest in all the things that this knowledge that, I didn't know anything about prior to that. So that was really my introduction to herbalism. And I just kind of dabbled in it my whole life. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's the most basic, easiest way to start if you want to become an herbalist, is to just pick one plant, one herb that you really want to dive into and learn about and study it, and then go to another herb. And before you know it, you'll have a handful of herbs that you go to all the time, that you love, they really speak to you, and they really do become like your allies and your friends, and you can learn so much from these plants. But I did discover that not everybody comes to herbalism that way. Some people come to it because they've had a profound healing experience late in their life, or maybe they're suffering from something that Western medicine hasn't been able to help them with. So they become interested in it that way. And also, some of the herbalists that I studied with, they really weren't plant people at all. They came to herbalism through the study of like yoga, or acupuncture even. So, there's no right or wrong way to do it. But what I find, and even in my own shop, people will come in and they want to learn about herbalism. I can tell pretty quickly, like, those who are serious about it and ready to study, or the ones who are really passionate about it. And then there's some people that, maybe they say they want to learn about it, but they don't really have the drive to do it. And there's nothing wrong with that either. You guys check out my little Haori. I got this from my Kung Fu Sifu. He brought it back from Japan as a gift for me. I thought that was very nice. Anyway, so, there's different ways to practice herbalism also. I mean, you don't have to have a full apothecary. You don't have to make medicine. Those are the things that I enjoy, and I also do have an apothecary with herbs. And you can choose to study in different ways. I mean, you could just learn about energetics and Western herbs. Maybe you want to focus on just the herbs in your bioregion. Or maybe you want to take it a step further and learn a little more about like Ayurvedic herbs or even Chinese herbs. And there's all different kinds to it. I mean, that's not the limit. Obviously, there's very rich herbal communities and culture and knowledge all over the whole world. So those are just some of the more common ones, I would say. So when you first start practicing, you'll be what's considered a family herbalist. So you're probably just going to be helping yourself and your immediate family. And then after you gain a little bit more knowledge, you can go on to become what herbalists call a community herbalist. And so now you're reaching out further into the community to help people. And you, like I said before, you can take herbalism as far as you want to. As you progress in your herbal training, if you want to go to that level and actually be a professional or even a clinical herbalist, which would be the next level, you're going to want to get enrolled in a program where you're going to learn about a wide variety of herbs, probably going to learn about energetics, probably going to learn some medicine making, and maybe even some other hands-on modalities or complementary modalities. So the next level would be the clinical herbalist, as I mentioned. And now this is where you're going to actually become someone who practices in a clinical setting. So you're going to meet with clients and do pattern assessments and basically recommend herbs for your individual clients. So that's the difference between those two. And you may or may not have a full apothecary. Then probably the next level after that, if you want to continue to go further, is you could become registered with the American Herbalist Guild. But that's not required. You don't have to. So I would say if you're someone who's looking for an herbalist, I would try to find someone who has professional and or clinical training. So this is a lot to take in, and there's a lot of different programs out there. There's nothing wrong with self-study, and you can learn so much on the internet now. So much is available to us that wasn't available even before 2020, the pandemic. I mean, so many of these herb schools had to get their programs online quickly to maintain their schools because they weren't able to meet in person during that time. So that's how they were able to survive. So that's been really great for a lot of people who want to study. In fact, during the pandemic, I actually was able to take a class online that I was going to have to take in person and was going to take a lot more of my money, and I was going to have to travel to go there. So it was nice that I was able to take it online. Obviously, you miss that connection that you have when you can do something one-on-one or personal or, an in-person class. You are going to miss those opportunities, but it doesn't mean that you still can't learn herbalism. So as I mentioned before, I think you just start very small, very basic, and you just build on that knowledge. And if you just study 1% every day, you're going to get 1% better every single day. And even now, I have been studying for several years and practicing for several years. I have a large apothecary with many herbs. I'm getting older. I can't remember everything, but I have a lot of great resources and books. So it's a lot of information to take in. And there's nothing wrong if you can't hold all of that in your head either. So I have heard people say, well, I just can't remember all these things. Well, not all of us have great memories, and that's okay. That's what your notes are for. That's what your references are for. And that's also why you want to work with the herbs. I think it's really important that you actually, for my memory, it's best if I can actually see the herb, if I could grow it, if I can pick it, if I can look at it, if I can find out what family it's in. It helps me remember, what this herb is good for. Those are just some of my thoughts on becoming an herbalist. I wish you well on your journey if that's something that you want to do. And if you don't, that's okay too. If you just want to learn about a few herbs here and there and keep a few in your pantry just for like when you have a flu and cold or a little backache or something, there's nothing wrong with that either. So I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk next time.